The galaxy had once considered humanity insignificant. They were later rivals to the interstellar stage, fragile in body, divided in culture, and loud in diplomacy. When their first exploration fleets crossed into shared space, most older civilizations saw them as a curiosity rather than a concern. Some saw them as labor. Some saw them as a shield. None saw them as a future terror. Humanity's early years among the stars were defined by debt. Their home system lacked rare fuels. Their colonies were vulnerable. Their ships were innovative but underpowered. So they borrowed. They signed treaties they barely understood. They accepted protection contracts that demanded loyalty. They allowed foreign fleets to orbit their worlds in the name of safety. The Concord of Systems was the first to offer help. It was an ancient alliance of dozens of species who claimed to preserve balance. In exchange for access to human trade routes, they promised defense. Human leaders agreed, believing cooperation was survival. For decades, Concord warships stood watch above human colonies. Sleek and cold, their commanders polite and distant. When the first border war came, it was not humanity's conflict. A rival coalition attacked Concord space, and the Concord invoked every clause of shared defense. Human fleets were ordered to assist. Human admirals obeyed. Their ships were sent to battles far from home. Fighting enemies they had never met, for reasons they barely understood. Losses followed. Human crews died in silent voids. Colonies went undefended. Yet each sacrifice was logged as payment toward the growing debt. The Concord praised human bravery in speeches while quietly adjusting numbers on ledgers. Then came the famine on Loran Reach. A human colony world lost its star. Output after an artificial sun failed. Millions faced slow extinction. Human diplomats begged the Concord for emergency energy shipments. The request was denied. The debt was not yet repaid. Humanity learned then that gratitude was not a currency respected among the stars. They endured. They rebuilt. They studied. While serving in foreign fleets, human engineers observed alien technology with obsessive focus. They noticed redundancies others ignored. They saw inefficiencies masked by tradition. They asked questions that made ancient admirals uncomfortable. Back home, research councils worked in quiet desperation. Without the resources to match older empires directly, they sought a different path. They focused on adaptability. They built ships that could be reconfigured mid-flight. They designed reactors that thrived under stress rather than failing. Most importantly, they redefined warfare. While others relied on overwhelming force, humans explored control. They studied energy flow. They learned how shields communicated with weapons. They mapped the hidden languages of fleet coordination, the invisible signals that kept armadas unified. Years passed. The Concord called again. A massive threat had emerged from the Galactic rim. Entire systems were falling. The Concord demanded humanity's full support, citing unpaid obligations. Human leadership convened in silence. Admiral Tomas spoke last. He reminded them of Loran Reach. He reminded them of the crews lost. He reminded them that debt once paid should end. The decision was unanimous. Human fleets arrived at the war zone alongside Concord armadas. Alien commanders watched with mild relief and lingering superiority. Human ships still looked small. Their hulls still lacked the ornate intimidation of older powers. The battle began as expected. Enemy forces surged forward. Energy fire lit the void. Concord fleets formed traditional patterns, confident in doctrine refined over millennia. Then the humans acted. They did not charge. They did not retreat. They adjusted. Human vessels altered emission profiles in synchronized waves. Their reactors pulsed at unfamiliar frequencies. Across the battlefield, Concord shields flickered. Communication relays stuttered. Targeting systems hesitated. Alien admirals shouted orders that never arrived. The enemy fleet faltered first, its coordination unraveling under invisible pressure. Then the Concord realized the disruption was not selective. Human technology did not distinguish ally from foe. It targeted systems themselves. With calm precision, human ships moved through the chaos, neutralizing threats with minimal force. They disabled rather than destroyed. They captured rather than annihilated. The battle ended quickly. In the aftermath, Concord commanders demanded explanations. Human representatives delivered data. They presented logs of every engagement humanity had fought on Concord orders. They listed every casualty. They calculated resource expenditures with ruthless accuracy. Then, they added the final entry: technological intervention to prevent total collapse of Concord defensive doctrine. Debt settled. The message spread faster than any ship.